Today is January 6th, and the focus today seems to be joy, and that chasing it is not the way to find it. It isn't something you earn or prove or is just kept out of reach. It actually emerges when you stay connected to the core of who you are while fully inhabiting your uniqueness. Hi, I'm Candy. I'm a hypnotherapist who's deconstructing from evangelical Christianity, and I know how mindset shapes our behavior. So, in this series, I'm going to share my daily reflections from 3 different devotionals. The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo, and that one's a little more spiritual, non-religious. Also, Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, which is a very modern Christian approach. And My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers, which is a very classic Christian angle. My goal is to help you see how each one of these devotionals or these day books might shape your mindset a little differently. And if you're into that kind of reflection, please like and follow for more. Let's get started. So today, for January 6th, in the Book of Awakening, there's a quote at the beginning that says, "What we reach for may be different, but what makes us reach is the same." And then Mark gives this illustration of a wheel, and the center, the core of the wheel is source and what we all came from, that we are what makes us all the same. And then the spokes of the wheel are unique ways that we go about life and community and relationships. And that's the rim, those things that we're going after. The spokes are us. So we just have all our unique ways of going towards these things, kind of the same things. We all have relationships. We live our lives in just different ways, but at the core, we're the same. So something that Mark focuses on is that we all come from the same origin while expressing that origin in these unique different ways. And that in early life, we tend to focus on our differences. And I can see that in my teenagers. Like, they want to be unique. They want to stand out. Sometimes. And I can see that in myself too. And I do see that later in life, and he says this is what happened for him, he began to be really mindful and notice the oneness beneath it, how alike we actually are. That core. I mean, we all feel the same feelings, maybe not to the same intensity, but we all know what it's like to feel lonely. We know what it's like to feel joy. We know what it's like to feel peaceful or anxious, sadness and anger. All of those things make us very similar in that way. And that our belonging in this place doesn't require sameness. Unity and individuality do coexist. Whether we like it or not, or whether someone tells you that or not, or whether the world or religion or whatever pushes that on you or not, unity and individuality do coexist. So you don't have to choose between belonging and being yourself. Joy grows, and you actually find that joy when you're in that authentic space, when you're mindful of both, that they coexist at the same time. They're sameness. We don't have to be like one another. We can be ourselves, and actually then we will draw those people who like us as we are, and we don't have to wear the masks anymore because the people around us know who we are and love us just as we are. So in Jesus Calling today, the focus is really that you're encouraged to just stay focused on how great God is, rather than what you're experiencing or seeing or feeling, or your physical environment. And then your unanswered prayers you're not supposed to worry about it. Even if you have a lot of them, those are just opportunities for you to have more patience, to learn patience, to trust more. And they're not to be really questioned or something to grieve. Like, you need to keep your eyes wide open for what God is doing in your life, and He gets all the glory, and your suffering even is just an opportunity for God to be glorified. So the mindset this kind of gives you, it kind of trains you to minimize your pain, which then you will do it for others, to distrust your inner voice, and you would probably likely tell others to distrust theirs. You might treat joy as something to point to rather than fully inhabit, rather than discover it within yourself. You're pointing to, I will have joy at some point, or when God gets glorified, when this comes about the way I think it's supposed to, then God will be glorified and my joy will return, or something like that. And finally, in my utmost for his highest, he kind of talks about, I don't know if these things go together. It seemed kind of jumpy to me, or like he was jumping around a little bit, but basically anything you receive from God, any good thing, must be given back to him so that he can give it to others. If you hold on to it, he likened it to when the manna fell from heaven, when the uh, Jewish people were in the wilderness after they had escaped Egypt, and they were not supposed to gather up manna on the uh, Sabbath day, and then some who did, who stored it over, who got grabbed more than they were supposed to. Maybe not on the Sabbath day. It was like they was a day they were supposed to like grab enough for 2 days, but they should just grab enough daily. And if they grabbed more, it got rotten. And so basically, he's equating that if you keep any good thing for yourself, it's going to spoil. And that's not a fair comparison, but that's what he does. And this kind of creates this idea that you shouldn't enjoy life too much. You need to, and I do agree that you should hold things loosely because you just don't know what's going to happen, but not that you risk being a kind, loving person or connection with God. It's kind of, I just really don't like how he does that. It always, I had this feeling when I was a Christian, just not enjoying things too much. I struggled still in deconstruction for the longest time, and I still work on it. Just really enjoying a beautiful moment and not having that nagging sense in the back of my mind that something bad's going to happen, because you know, joy was just something that you could have for little spurts, but don't stay there too long. So the cost of this kind of thinking is that joy becomes very elusive, and you live with that sense of the other shoe's going to drop anytime. So I would say that's not super healthy. So as you can see in all three of these, and if we kind of, I try to find something cohesive, but they don't always go together. Um, I do want you to think about that wheel in the Book of Awakening. Think about the center. It's where you came from, where I came from, where the land, the atoms, the very first atom of life. Your spoke is what makes you uniquely you, and they both exist together and need to. So I'd like you to ask yourself, what would it feel like to stay in that space of joy when I find it, when I discover it within? Not chasing it, just noticing it within me. Because I'm mindful of my core and my uniqueness at the same time, and that they're supposed to be existing together, both beautiful. You get to choose what you take from all of this today. Just let what resonates with you travel with you throughout your day, and the rest of it, just let it go. Remember, you get to decide what you devote your thinking to today. You might not be able to control every thought that comes in, but you can definitely decide what you entertain. And whether it comes from something I've said today or something completely different, choose wisely and set an intention that truly benefits you and those around you. And if you found any value here today, don't forget to like and follow. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and let's keep our minds on what helps us love ourselves and each other a little bit better every day.